Hello, I'm Dr. Pizzadili. This video is about making HealthPro Beans. I am a very strong supporter of Dr. Joel Fuhrman's Eat to Live eating style. This is a plant-based diet, 50% raw. And one of the foundations of Dr. Fuhrman's diet plan is to eat beans every day. You want to eat a cup of beans every day for all the many health benefits, which I'll go into throughout our video. Now what I do is make up a pot of beans that lasts me a couple of days, or it can serve a large group of people. And I'll show you how to do that step by step and explain everything I do as we go along. So on my left you see I have a slow cooker, I have a bag of beans I got at the store. We see beans that have been soaking, and here is a measuring cup full of dried black beans and a couple other ingredients: mushrooms, garlic, tomato sauce, and tomatoes. And I'll show you how all this works. So I use a slow cooker. You can use a crock pot. They're easily available. You can get a crock pot at Walmart or at Value Village, wherever you need one. Then the most important ingredient is going to be the beans. And if you look closely, you see here these are organic black turtle beans. Now I purchased this 25-pound sack from our wonderful local family-owned natural food store, the Natural Pantry. And I recommend going there and getting these large bags. It's very economical. This bag, these black beans cost maybe $2.08 a pound, and it's a smart buy, and you can feed your family for quite a while on this. It lasts me close to maybe a year, but you know, if you have a large family, there's a lot of food here. And what I feed a lot of people at my office, because when I have workshops, I like to invite people and serve them some more fresh organic beans. Okay, so that's our foundation, the organic black beans. And here we see a cup of beans. This is 2 cups of beans that I poured into this bowl with some distilled, or not distilled, but with some spring water. And here's the same amount of beans, dried and after soaking for 24 hours. And you see they swelled up. You have got to soak your beans. And some people say, oh no, it's too much trouble, I can't do it. Listen, when you get up on Monday morning, do you wait until then to think about what you're going to wear for that day, going to school or going to work? All it takes is the night before, or you're going to cook your beans. Take 2 cups or 1 cup or 3 cups, put them in water, cover the beans with water, and you'll see them swell up like that. They have to be soaked in order to cook properly. So, and now here we have our wonderful soaked beans. I'm going to pour them in the slow cooker. And there we go. There's our raw material. We'll set that aside and wash it later. Now we're going to add some other ingredients. And here we have mushrooms. Another foundation of Dr. Fuhrman's diet style, which he calls G-bombs, greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds, is mushrooms. And you want to eat mushrooms every day because they have powerful anti-cancer properties. Of course, mushrooms need to be heated before you eat them. Not a lot, but just slightly. So what I like to do is add the mushrooms to the beans. I'm going to chop these up. I've already washed them. I recommend you always wash every vegetable and every item you eat before you add it to your food. Chop them up in chunks. We want to have the mushrooms distributed throughout the beans, and they're going to cook along with the beans the whole time. So in we go. Great. Now the next item, your beans. You want to flavor up your beans, and I use organic or I use Bertolli's organic tomato sauce. This is a tremendous deal. I think I got four bottles like this for $5 last time I was there. So we dump this in. It provides a lot of flavor. This has got organic tomato puree, organic tomato paste, organic diced tomatoes, organic extra virgin olive oil, and a lot of flavoring. Just to kind of spice it up and make it more interesting to eat. So we open that up, dump it in. And I like to get all the good stuff, so I'm going to put some spring water in here and rinse the bottle out. Get all the wonderful spices that Bertolli has put in here. And I like Bertolli as a brand, believe me. Okay, there we go. Now, get a spoon and kind of stir it up a little bit. You want to use a wooden spoon when you're doing this. Alright, but we're not quite done yet. Let's look over here. Now I want to bulk up my beans with a little more tomatoes. Now, Dr. Furman has pointed out, and he has very solid research, that tomatoes are very healthy to eat. We should eat tomatoes every day, particularly men, because tomatoes have lycopene, which is a very powerful, healthy compound for the prostate. So I make sure I eat tomatoes every day, and you should eat them cooked and raw. So the raw tomatoes can be in your salad, the cooked tomatoes can be in your beans. So I've got both organic tomato paste, came from Costco. Let's dump this in. There's our tomato paste. I'll also add a can of organic diced tomatoes. Again, organic, coming, and in we go. So now we'll stir this up, get things kind of blended in there a little bit. And now one more item. It's garlic. And this is going to be a whole head of garlic. You see this organic garlic, and I've already peeled the outside skin off and I've trimmed them a little bit. And now I'm going to crush these right into my garlic squeezer here. I use a whole head of garlic. It might be a little stout for some people, but it's going to be spread over this whole pot of beans, which can feed a large group of people. Nobody could eat that much beans at one sitting. Now, the thing is, beans have so much fiber and they're so bulky. One of the great things about beans is they're so very filling. In we go. Now we'll mix it all together. Remember, here's that tomato paste. We want to have that mixed in. That will be, as this heats up, that will dissolve and be distributed throughout the whole pot. So many times I'll also cut up an onion, which is another great addition here. We want to eat onions every day, but the best health benefits from onions come from eating them raw. So just, sprinkling some raw onions on your salad is a great way to go with those. And it's very important to eat onions and garlic every day. And Dr. Furman has published studies showing that the people who eat the most garlic and the most onions have less disease and live longer than people who eat the least amount. So I recommend eating onions and garlic every single day. Of course, being Italian helps. Italians do that already. So here we have our whole mix of beans. We put on the lid. We plug in the slow cooker. It's on a pretty low setting down here at 2. And now we're in business. I like to cook beans overnight So the next morning we get up, the house smells great of these nice, wonderful cooked beans and the spices that went in there. So it's so easy to make. Here's a dinner for our family for a couple of nights, 2 or 3 nights. Here's a dinner for a large group of people. Or somebody like me, this is something that'll last a whole week. So there we go. Thanks very much. I'm Dr. Pizzadili. Thanks for watching my video on HealthPro Beans, and we'll be back to see what our product looks like in the morning. Thank you. Okay, here we are. It's the next morning, and my beans have been cooking all night. So let's take a look and see what we get. Oh man, look at all this awesome goodness. Now, I actually checked these during the night a couple of times and stirred them. And you see we have a nice even distribution of all those ingredients we put in. Look at this wonderful, wonderful food. Now, you can tell I kept it on a low heat setting. It's down here on 2. It's on the low side of 2. And if you'll know that you have the heat turned up too high if the beans are sticking to the bottom of the pot. We don't want that. And the nutrients in the food are better preserved by cooking at low heat. We do not want excessive heat when we cook. And that goes for anything. Alright, so can't wait to eat some of this. And these can be eaten in a bowl just like this, or you could make them into a burrito or a taco or a soup. If you have some chips, you can pour them over that and make nachos. Organic chips, of course. But there's so many things you can do with this. You can feed a family at least 2 or 3 meals with this. You can feed a large group of people. And just consider the preparation time was very short, less than half an hour. And there's so many health benefits from this. Beans are so important, they are number 2 in Dr. Furman's acronym G-BOMBs. Beans are high in soluble fiber, which is not absorbed, and it does not provide calories. That soluble fiber is very important as it slows absorption of glucose and helps lower cholesterol. And beans are especially high in soluble fiber. Beans are also high in insoluble fiber, and that's roughage. That provides the bulk that moves everything through and provides bulk to the stool, keeps things moving through our system, and helps keep us regular. Resistant starch is not digested in the small intestine, but it passes down through the large intestine where it undergoes fermentation. Fermentation means that bacteria decompose and degrade this starch into simpler compounds that are highly beneficial, especially for diabetics and cancer patients. Over 90% of the calories in resistant starch are not absorbed by the body and do not raise blood sugar at all. Over 63% of the starch in these black beans is resistant starch. Now that resistant starch feeds the healthful bacteria in your gut. It provides raw material for making short-chain fatty acids, especially one called butyrate. Butyrate has many benefits, including providing strong protection against colon cancer and enhancing the absorption of calcium and magnesium, which improves insulin sensitivity. This is the opposite effect of eating sugary, highly processed carbohydrates. Remember, 63% of the starch in these organic beans are resistant starch, so organic black beans are my favorite beans. Now, beans and legumes are not eaten as much as grains in this country, but they are far richer in nutrients and protein and fiber, and they have much higher levels of resistant starch. So you can have great benefits from balancing blood sugar and weight loss, so they're far better than grains for diabetics and people at risk for diabetes, which includes everybody in the USA. So thanks very much. I'm Dr. Pizzadili. I look forward to seeing you eat more beans and becoming more healthy. Take another look at my wonderful black beans here. Mmm.